these days I'm just going to do the whole Dr. Nick thing from The Simpsons. Hi, everybody. Hi, Dr. Nick. Okay, so today, or this afternoon I should say, we have with us Jamel Majors from Career Services. That's the correct title, right?
Yes, Career Services.
Okay. So I've known Jamel for about a year now, I think. He just emailed sort of out of the blue asking about some of the resources we have in the library, Sandbox, especially for his specialty with the Humanities and Communications department. So we were talking about things that they could use, like for audio, video recording, stuff like that. And so that sort of began a larger conversation about partnerships between these career services and the library, because in many ways we kind of have parallel goals of preparing students for life after college. You know, we hope that the skills we teach in the library will transfer over to the rest of your jobs. So Jamel and I have been talking and knowing, so when I thought about with this retreat, I wanted someone to talk about what happens once you finish your dissertation. What about the job market? How do I kind of get ready and, you know, cover letters, resumes, CVs, all those kinds of things. Jamel was the first person I thought of to do this. And also, Jamel is, like you, a dissertation graduate student. So we've also had many meetings ourselves working on his dissertation, which is fascinating. So that's been really fun too. So he can answer a lot of your questions. He knows what it's like to work on a dissertation and also be working and looking also, just working with other students with their careers and everything else. So with that, I will step aside and turn it over to Jamel. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Media and music. I'm doing a qualitative content analysis on the portrayals of African Americans in the education system as portrayed in film. Really excited about that. So I'm going to do a short presentation for you guys today, telling you guys about what our services are, what we do, and how we might be able to help you guys through your journey here at the university, and then I'll kind of open it up for questions. So how many of you have heard of career services, or at least have utilized our services? Okay, so a few hands. Okay. Career services.
Speak up, Jamel. Speak a little louder.
Oh, you can't hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so career services, we provide a number of services in our office. One of the main things we offer is career advising. So students can now schedule appointments with us via our online portal called TigerLink, and you can meet one-on-one with a career specialist to help you through your journey. So those of you who have not taken advantage of that yet, I would encourage you to do that. Each of you have been assigned a career specialist based on your major. I'm going to introduce you to our team here in a second, and so you'll be able to see who your career specialist is. We help with resumes, CVs, cover letters. A lot of times students need help drafting these from scratch. They have no idea. I've even had students come in and say, well, what is a resume? And so, yeah, so everybody's on a different level. For many of you guys, I'm assuming that you all know what a resume is. And so we help with that as well. Mock interviewing, so let's say you have an interview and you are kind of nervous about it, not really sure, and you need to kind of brush up on your interviewing skills, then you can come to our office and we'll actually sit down and do a mock interview with you. So we're actually going over potential questions that you might be asked by that employer. It might be recorded, and then we give you that feedback before you leave the session. Focus 2 personality assessment. This is mostly going to be for undergrads. This is an opportunity for students who aren't really sure what they want to do when they graduate. We give them this assessment. You can access it online. And what it does is it measures your likes, dislikes, your values, different skills, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and then it matches you up with a potential career. So for example, let's say you enjoy writing, you enjoy public speaking, and you enjoy helping people, it might recommend TV news reporter as a job for your potential career. Of course, job and internship searches, very, very big. So we help students navigate that process as well. and show you how to go about doing that. Graduate school planning. You guys are already in graduate school, so, but once you get there, we can help you from graduate school beyond, meaning entering the workforce and what you need to prepare to enter the workforce as well. And we're always looking for ways to connect students with employers. So we do career fairs, we do workshops, we have on-campus interviews where a lot of the employers, they come onto campus and they request to interview our students when they have openings, so we do that. We have information, recruiting tables, and a lot of other things that we do as well. Sometimes our employers will request to come and set up a table in the UC, and they will talk with students about opportunities and that kind of thing, or just share information about their companies. So here's our team. So Caitlin Fisher is actually here today. Caitlin, you're on the spot. She's here in the back. She's actually new. Caitlin, I think did you send me your picture? I couldn't remember if you sent me yours.
I will.
Okay. Dr. Jada Meeks is our STEM career specialist, so science, technology, engineering, math. So all the students who fall under that category, or all those majors, will report to her. Okay. I'm the career specialist for communication and humanities. So I have communication film, journalism and strategic media, and then the humanities, English, history, philosophy, world languages and literatures, international studies, interdisciplinary studies, Judaic studies, religious studies. So there's several that fall under humanities. Beth Ann Simpson is our Lambeth campus career specialist. Brian Sweeney is arts, hospitality, and sport management. I don't believe Brian's here. No. Fonda Frapia, healthcare and wellness. Ayana Perkins, education. And Kimberly Brown is social sciences. Eli is here with us as well. He's our employer, what's your exact title?
Employer Outreach Specialist.
Okay, employer outreach specialist for our department. So he has a lot of contact with employers who are interested in hiring our students as well. So based on this, you all know who your career specialist is. Does everybody know?
I'm a music historian. Would you be my person to speak with?
Music would probably fall under arts.
Arts?
Yeah, arts, hospitality, and management. Anybody else?
My program is one of the University College.
So it's University College. So typically what happens, you're probably going to see Caitlin, and then once you declare a major, you'll see one of us. Okay. Anybody else?
Health communication, but I'm also a nurse.
Okay, so you're saying you're a double major?
No, I'm just saying that I'm in the health communication department, but I will probably work in the healthcare field.
Okay, so this is based on major only. So
Okay.
more than likely, if it's communication, it would probably be me.
Okay.
Yeah, if it falls under that. Now, if you're a double major, the system will usually default to one of those majors, and whatever the system defaults to, that's the person you'll report to. If, for example, let's say you're a communication and history major, and it defaults to communication, but you really want to focus on history, then you'll need to make sure that when you meet with your communication person, which would probably be me, make sure you let them know that you're interested in history, or you're interested in whatever the other major is, so that we can get you to the right career specialist. Everybody clear on that? Questions so far? All right, so I'm going to get in, I'm going to log out, and I'm going to get into TigerLink. So TigerLink is our online portal that we use here at the university, and this is the way that you guys will do business with career services. You can go in here and access jobs. You can send us your resume, cover letters for us to review them. And so I would strongly encourage you to become familiar with TigerLink. It's also how you will make an appointment with your career specialist. So anything that you guys are doing career-wise, you're going to do it through TigerLink. Okay? So let me get out of this real quick. and then we will access Tiger Link. So to access it, you'll go to memphis.edu/TigerLink. But I'm going to do it a faster way. And it's not necessarily a faster way, but I'm going to log in. All right, so I'm going to show you what your screen will look like as a student logging in. So once you go to memphis.edu/TigerLink, this is what you're going to see. More than likely, your main screen here. So this is just a quick snapshot talking about things that are popular in your major. There are some hot jobs, some trending questions for you, upcoming events, on-campus jobs, etc. So one of the first things that you guys will want to do is you'll want to go to your profile and make sure that your profile is updated. So you're going to go to your name and you're going to click My Profile, and then this screen pops up. So right now this profile is only 15% complete. Okay? So you'll need to go in and make sure that you address your education, your work and volunteer experience, any organizations, projects, courses, etc. So this is important because the employers are actually going to be visiting your profile when they're interested in hiring students. So this is what employers are seeing. So that's why it's important to have your profile updated. You definitely wouldn't want an employer logging in and saying, oh, well, this profile is not complete, but I'm interested in hiring the student. Because then that's when they call me and they're asking questions. So tell me a little bit more about the student, blah, blah, blah. So I would strongly recommend you to update your profile. Questions about updating the profile. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go to Career Center and you're going to go to Appointments. Okay? This is how you're going to schedule an appointment with your career specialist. Okay, so you're going to go to Schedule New Appointment. You're going to choose a category. The category will be your major. So this screen might look different for many of you based on your major. So if it's social sciences, it will say social sciences instead of communication and humanities. Be careful not to select Lambeth campus because of course that's Lambeth. Lambeth students will select that option. So you're going to choose then your appointment type. So what are you interested in talking with us about? Are you interested in exploring your major? Or you want to do a document review? You want to talk about jobs, internships? You want to do a mock interview? So you'll select the option that you're wanting. So we'll just pick major career exploration. And then you get a calendar here, and this will show when your career specialist is available to meet. So these are all the dates and times that the career specialist is available. So let's say we want to do the January 27th at 10 o'clock. So we'll choose that option. The appointment medium tells you where you're meeting. Please make sure you pay attention to that because a lot of the career specialists, including myself, we have multiple offices on campus. I have 3 offices that I work out of on different days. And so you definitely want to make sure that you pay close attention to where you're going to be meeting your career specialist. And then you will type what you need help with. And so you will just, put in a message, I recently, lost my job. I need help finding a new one, whatever you're wanting to say there. And then you'll hit request. Okay? It will automatically go to your career specialist. Your career specialist will approve it. And then you'll get a notification reminding you about the appointment. So I'm going to cancel out of this. Questions about scheduling an appointment? Okay. So messages, if you had any messages, they would appear there. Students, if you're interested in networking with other students, we're going to talk more about networking here in a second, but if you're interested in talking with other students who might be majoring in the same area that you are, or if you want to talk to them about maybe opportunities that they've had, prior opportunities that they've had, their interests, you can do that here. So you can click on any of these students. You can search University of Memphis only. You can go in and search by major. If there is someone that you're wanting to connect with, maybe you want to talk to somebody that's worked at St. Jude, you can choose St. Jude and you can filter that way as well. But this is your networking piece. So this is how you can network with students, not only here at the university, but anywhere that has the, or any school that has the handshake platform. You will be able to communicate with students. So I would strongly encourage you to utilize this feature. Questions about this feature?
You find this through TigerLink?
Yeah, this is all through the TigerLink system.
Now, for a lot of these students, they're probably, most of these have undergraduate, maybe a few master's degrees. Is there any way of sorting, like finding other PhD students or other graduate students through this?
I don't know if it has student organizations. No, so it's basically just based on majors, it looks like. And it has, where do you see it? At school year, yeah. So junior, okay, yeah, here we go. So, yeah, doctoral students, yeah. And so you can basically go in and do that. You can also, if your major wasn't there, you can type in the major. Or if there was another employer you want to look at, etc.
Now, you mentioned that employers can look at this too. I'm wondering how often are employers going into a handshake platform over something like LinkedIn? And why would I want to have multiple profiles across all these different platforms?
So you want to have multiple profiles or multiple things because you increase your chances, number one. And different employers, we have certain relationships with certain employers where they're going to take, handshake, I wouldn't say more seriously, but they might utilize that as one of their ways of contacting or connecting with our students. And so most of our employees that we have a relationship with, they know, I'm going to go to handshake because that's the tool that the students are using, and that's how I will connect with them. So I would actually do both. I would do LinkedIn definitely, which I'm going to talk about LinkedIn in a few minutes. But definitely I would utilize this platform as well as LinkedIn.
I have a lot of family members in HR, and they indicated to me that it's also based on your region. So there are more people that may use like Monster, that's really old, but they still use Monster, they use Handshake, they use LinkedIn. They also use other different portals as well, and so I think that may be the benefit of having multiple profiles. And a lot of them are interconnected so that you can kind of link them, so that way you're not consistently having to update your information. It will transfer over for you.
That was my concern, is keeping all of these updated if I have multiple platforms and.
So what I would suggest for that is making sure whatever works best for you or whatever you feel works best for you, then that's what you utilize. Because you definitely don't want it to become too overwhelming. So if you find that handshake is just, if you find that you've gotten a better response from LinkedIn, then maybe that's where you put all of your energy in.
Something like this profile doesn't automatically, it can't be linked with my LinkedIn profile?
I'm not sure about linking. Does it,
It doesn't link, not that I'm aware of, but you can always put your LinkedIn link there. And you can, how it's set up when you go through to set up your profile, you can do the minimize screen and just copy and paste profile information, your journey, and that kind of thing, because like you said, it's just going to open you up to more opportunities. And if I could add, we do have employers that come on campus and schedule interviews and things like that. So that's also really beneficial.
I would also encourage you to check out our events. We usually post our events that we're having on campus. And so you can actually go in and view the different events that we're having. And last but not least, jobs. That's what many of you can use in your search. And so typically we have anywhere from, I think it's like 500 jobs and internship postings in our system at any given point. And we have a relationship with about 3,000 employers, give or take. And so you can use the tabs here to filter. So if you're looking for full-time, you can do full-time, you can do part-time, internship on campus, etc. And then you can also search by city. So if you're looking at Atlanta or Houston or Dallas, you can filter by city, or you can narrow it down even further by putting in a specific job title.
Is this all just, kind of student-led, or do you all offer any kind of like recruiting, matching service within the office?
Recruiting matching service in terms of?
So, for example, if you were to go to like Aerotech, I used to work at Aerotech as a recruiter. And so we would have a database essentially kind of like this, but you would help match with different employers. Is that something that you all are able to do?
So the employers have their own platform. So when they go in and sign up, they actually, their platform, let me see if I can show you what their platform looks like. So this is what an employer would see, for an example. So they can go in and they have a profile set. They can go in and post jobs. They can search for students, that kind of thing. They can even go in and request interviews, like if they want to come to campus and interview students. And so their platform looks totally different, but they're utilizing the platform to access the students' information and communicate with the students.
So basically they're doing their own kind of recruiting from that end and matching based on different keywords and things of that sort.
Right, so they're putting in the jobs typically, and when you go in to search as a student, you will put in those keywords that you think will more than likely appear in those particular job descriptions. All right, other questions about Handshake before we move on? All right. So, that's Handshake in a nutshell. So student leadership and professional competencies. So competencies are skills that employers are expecting students to have mastered by the time they graduate. So these are things that employers are looking for. Teamwork and collaboration, learning and reasoning, professional and strategic planning, communication and digital technology, self-awareness, leadership and civic responsibility. So as you guys are building your resumes or your CVs, start thinking about how these competencies, start incorporating these competencies and relating them to what you have done in your previous roles. That will help you when you're doing your resume and of course getting the attention of employers. Now for most of you, you guys have already been in the workforce, right? So you're not like an undergraduate who may have no experience whatsoever. So you all will need to hone in on those transferable skills in terms of your resumes. So these are some of the transferable skills that employers are looking for, and these are things that you will need to hone in on to help you from this point forward in terms of employment. So communication, speaking effectively, writing, negotiating, persuading, research and planning, problem solvers, creative ideas, forecasting, predicting, and then the interpersonal skills, and then organization, management, and leadership skills. So companies are looking for good listeners, people that can work on a team, all of those things. So you'll want to pull out those skills and highlight those on your resume. How many of you have updated your resumes at this point? All right. So you're pretty confident that if you send that out today, it's good to go, you'll land the job. Okay. So you definitely need to come and see us so that we can help you with your resume and doing that.
Do you, I probably missed it, CV work as well?
Yeah, CV. So with CVs, of course, that's more, I call it your life's work. And so it's very, very, some of them are very long. I've seen them at least, 8 pages, 10, 12, 15. You're gonna put basically all of your research that you've done, conferences, awards, honors. Most of the time, most of the students that I help with CVs, they're looking for research type jobs or jobs at the university level, healthcare, education, that kind of thing. And so yes, we do help with CVs as well. Okay, so another tool, how many of you have heard of what can I do with this major?
I feel like that's what my dad told me.
Okay, so this is another good tool that you all can utilize. And again, I'm going to show you how to access it. So for this one, you're going to go to memphis.edu/career services. You're going to go to students and alumni, explore majors, careers, focus 2. And then you're going to go to what can I do with this major. Okay. Then you're going to go to view all majors. So first thing I need to say is that these are not University of Memphis majors. Okay. So if your major is not listed here, you will have to choose the major that's closely related to your major. Okay. So what this tool does is it will tell you every single thing possible that you can do with your major, and then also provide additional tools and resources for you as well. So someone throw out a major.
Musicology.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't know. Let's see if it may or may not be.
No,
listed.
no, 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 no.
It may not be
Go with
under
history.
Linguistics.
linguistics.
Right there.
Oh, well, let's see.
No offense, you were coming.
So let's see.
Yeah, well, music,
Let's look
close
at
enough.
well, music and music business. So that's how they divide it up. So, but let's try music.
I feel like musicology is more like general historian at this point. I know.
Yeah, I know.
No one loves us musicologists.
Well, there's nothing for terminology up there, so I'm kind of screwed.
So once you choose your major, once your major is chosen, how this tool works is it tells you the area that music majors tend to get into. So a lot of music majors go into education. If you're interested in education, these are the types of employers that you need to start looking at.
It says music history on there.
And then the strategies that you will need to take to be successful, either in entering the field or once you're there as far as advancement. But you can see this is a pretty extensive list. They also get into performance. These are the types of employers and the strategies. Conducting, employer strategies, composing, arranging. Music libraries. Dr. Harris.
Technically, I'm not a music librarian, that's Joel's job.
Yeah.
Communications broadcasting is another area that music majors tend to get into. Employers that we should be looking at, strategies, behind the scenes, music industry business, human services, some other miscellaneous areas, general information, and then here are some links at the bottom. So this tool is an awesome tool. If you have not utilized it, you definitely should. With the professional associations, most of these are national organizations, but more than likely there may be a local association or a local branch here in this area. So you might want to reach out to some of these or do some research to see what may be available locally. Sometimes if you tell them you're a student, they might reduce your monthly dues or fees, but you can either become a member of these associations or you can reach out and talk to professionals who are in these associations, because these are the people who are already working in a lot of those areas. And so for you guys as doctoral students, networking is going to be big. And so this is a way for you to start building your network. Occupational outlook, you can take any job title and you can click on that particular job title. So let's say you wanted to be a post-secondary teacher, and this will tell you everything you need to know about post-secondary teachers. What they do, the work environment, how to become one, the pay, the job outlook, similar occupations, and so forth. So this is actual data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, so it's not like survey data or anything like that. So it's pretty reliable. I like this tool. This is the Occupational Outlook Handbook.
Are we gonna get a copy?
Copy of your-
Yes, you'll have a copy.
I've already got the slides from.
Okay, great.
Other related resources that you guys might want to check out, and then employment opportunities. You can click on any of these and they will take you directly to other employment opportunities for the particular. So questions about this tool. What can I do with this major? And of course, you guys can go back on your own if there's one that you are interested in, but they're all basically set up pretty much the same. Like for example, with linguistics, yeah, same thing. The area, the employers, and the strategies, and then at the bottom you have additional resources that you can use. So when I use this tool, so let's say you wanted to do communication disorders, what I would do is I'd look at the employers and I would start researching these employers. So I might type in Department of Veterans Affairs Memphis, or Department of Veterans Affairs Dallas or Houston or wherever you're going, and then start researching and seeing what opportunities you can come across within those particular organizations.
Did you get to this site through the University of Memphis?
Yeah, so you have to access it through, so it's memphis.edu/career services. So if you try to access it outside of that, you're gonna have to pay. And so I don't think, yeah, it's a subscription service that we provide for our students.
So make sure you're logged into your My Memphis account to make it look like you're on the network.
How long do we have access to this after we graduate?
To career services or to this particular?
Pretty much everything, I guess.
So that's a question,
So-
like, when they deactivate your account?
No, so for career services, once you're a Tiger, you're always a Tiger. So you can come back 10 years from now and we'll be here to help. Now, 1 year after you graduate, your University of Memphis, your email will expire. So you'll just have to go in and update everything with your, whatever email you decide to use. And so it's the email that expires 1 year after, but the services continue forever. So you can always use us.
But if you're trying to access this.
But if you're trying to access this, you'll need to do it through the memphis.edu/career services. And as long as we are providing and paying for that service, you can have access to it.
And once you're on the website, you know to where you
Okay, so let me walk you guys back through it again. So it's memphis.edu/career services. You're going to go to students and alumni, explore majors and careers, focus 2, and then you're going to scroll down, and then you're going to go to what can I do with this major? And then view all majors. And that's it.
How helpful is career services for people who are not looking for a job, but rather do an independent thing like a nonprofit organization?
So you want to start your own business? Is that what you're?
Well, technically, it's a nonprofit organization.
Okay. So what would you be looking for us to help you with specifically? Just you mean getting started and how to go about
No,
doing that?
that's my question to you. Are there any services that you have or can conceive of offering to people in that situation? Or is it strictly people looking for something with an employer?
So I know we do a lot of professional development type stuff in addition to that, but as far as like someone who, might be wanting to start their own business or get into that kind of thing, I've actually been relying on Dr. Harris and his team for that. The library has a lot of resources downstairs in their sandbox, and I think that was a direction that you said that you guys might be going with helping people, especially those that want to maybe start their own business.
There is an entrepreneurship center on campus.
Yeah, the Crew Center for Entrepreneurship, so that would be a
But I'm thinking
recommendation.
of someone like an education major who may want to open up their own school or a daycare center or something.
Yeah, so what I would do is I'd recommend you schedule an initial appointment with your career specialist for education, Ms. Ayanna Perkins, and then from there, she will be able to provide those additional resources. But I think we'll need to know a little bit more about what it is that you're basically trying to do and what maybe your need is, and then we can give you the right referral and the right resources.
Can I add
Okay.
about nonprofit? We have something coming up it'll be next month, I believe, but it's a partnership with Momentum nonprofit partnerships in here in Memphis. But they have a job shadowing program that they're doing for those of you who would like to open up and run a nonprofit for you to kind of go through and shadow. And I believe the deadline for that is January 31st. So if that's something that you're interested in, I can send you that in an email. Okay.
All right, other questions before we move on? All right, how many of you want to teach possibly? Okay, so a lot of you. All right, well, you're gonna have a couple options. If you're looking at the post-secondary level. So of course, non-tenured versus tenured. So non-tenured means that you will probably be an adjunct or associate professor, which means that you'll be part-time, more than likely. Teaching experience is typically preferred. Oftentimes, you'll need a master's, which all of you have, I hope, or a bachelor's and some experience depending on the field. The average pay is about $10 to $15 an hour. And then, of course, tenured means that you would be a faculty member, you have an ongoing, is that not right? Is 10 to 15 is not right?
No, it's right, it's just.
Oh, you just can't believe it. You can't believe that is right. Of course, with tenured, you're probably going to have to go to conferences and do research and, do publications. The tenure track is typically 2 to 7 years, and the average pay is about $85,000.
Probably in hard science.
That's being buoyed up by all the science people that make a lot more money than us humanities folks.
You have a question? Thank you.
Yes, tenure track, 2 to 7, is that like an employment? What does that exactly mean?
Yeah, how long it takes you to gain tenure. Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah.
how long it takes to get
Yeah,
it.
typically on average.
Then once you get it,
Then you have a permanent contract. You're a full-time,
forever.
yeah, faculty member and, yeah.
They cannot
And
back.
sometimes
And so-
schools are moving to post-tenure review things where if you're not showing a continuous progress in publication and being active in your field, they might consider revoking tenure. It's a thing that's becoming more common, and it is something that U of M is exploring currently adding.
Okay, I'm curious about this. So if you want to retire, how long would you have to work? I mean, is it,
Depends on when you start.
I mean, is it like everywhere else like 30 years? Is it like 30 years or when, I mean,
I've had 95-year-old professors.
me too, so that's what I'm wondering.
No, but I think her question is to qualify for retirement.
I think a lot of that is like, the national age is 65 for like social security benefits.
Is it 67? I think it's 67 now.
I know they
Yeah,
created
keep going up.
So the department doesn't have a requirement then?
It's going to be dependent on your institution and their individual retirement plan.
Yeah. All right, how many of you have started searching for jobs? Okay, are you guys using these popular search engines? Hiring, okay. LinkedIn, I highlighted that one. I would strongly and highly recommend if you are not on LinkedIn, you should be on LinkedIn. If you're not. I'm not going to go too much into LinkedIn due to timing, but I do have a handout that I'm going to give you guys. The one thing that I would say about LinkedIn is to just make sure that your LinkedIn account has a professional photo and profile. That's going to be very important. So you'll need a headshot with business attire. Make sure that it's just you. Not you and a pet or you and a significant other in your photo. Make sure your profile is professional because you never know who's reading it. And so those are the two biggie, or the two big things, or two main things I would say. So I'm going to start some of these on this end. Well, you can go that way and then, yeah, that way. But these are some kind of key highlights. Or some important things for LinkedIn. This sheet is front and back as well. But there are many search engines. I personally like Career Builder. I've used that one a lot. I think I've also used Indeed a lot. That's one that I like as well.
I have a question. How important is it to have a social media presence? Like, I mean, like, do you have to have something like LinkedIn or be on Facebook or
So with LinkedIn, that's more of a professional network. Social media is more your personal, site. But employers do pay attention to your social media sites. So just make sure that you don't have anything on your Twitter and Facebook and that an employer might see that might discourage them from wanting to hire you. A lot of companies, when your name comes up on the radar and they're about to bring you in for an interview, they will go to your social media site and they will look to see what they can find.
I guess what I'm asking is if you're not like online, is that a negative thing when you're trying to find a job?
That's your preference
Okay.
if you're not on there. But you may increase your chances of being able to network and being able to find a job if you are on LinkedIn versus if you're not. Okay. Next steps, we have a few minutes. So for you all, networking will be very important. When you get the chance, attend any type of conference that you can, meet people, talk to people, start networking. Associations that we talked about, that's a good way to meet people who are already working in the industry. Former colleagues, reach out to them. Hey, do you know anything interesting or anything coming up as far as jobs in your field? And then LinkedIn. Job shadows. For most of you, you might be interested in a job shadow. So this is something that I will help students with. When they set up an appointment with me, I will do a job shadow where I contact the company they're interested in doing the shadow with. They go and spend the day with the employer. It's an opportunity for them to network, for them to learn more about the careers or opportunities that this employer might have. And a lot of times I've had students that have done job shadows that have actually been called back, or eventually, you know, the company's interested.
And you would do this with a graduate level student?
I would do this with a graduate level student as well, if they needed to do that.
Okay.
Internships, believe it or not, I think I read somewhere where internships now are even something for doctoral students. I forgot where I read that, but so, you know, even though internships are typically for undergrad students, I remembered reading something where it said that internships are going to be kind of up and coming for grad students because they realize that grad students need experience. And so, yeah. Why not?
Adjuncts are just too expensive these days.
Yeah. Postdocs, fellowships. You know, postdocs are a good way for you to get experience, especially those of you that are interested in faculty type positions. You'll go in, you'll do some research, you'll get an opportunity to teach. There's usually a stipend involved with postdocs. And then you will report usually to a principal or lead investigator who will supervise your work. And then you have fellowships. Fellowships usually require a little bit of research experience though, because you're mostly in fellowships, you're doing a lot of independent research with that. And fellowships may take a little more, but that may not necessarily be the case. A friend of mine who attends University of Michigan, she's currently doing a fellowship at her school. She told me it's a 5-year deal. The first year is research, she doesn't get paid for that. The second, third, and fourth years, they give her a stipend, and then the 5th year is research, she doesn't get paid for that. So it varies. So if you are going to do a postdoc or fellowship, make sure you read the fine print before you sign. Volunteering. I can't stress volunteering enough. You all at a graduate level as doctoral students, volunteer. It's a sure way to get your foot in the door and get some experience. You get to meet people. When you're done, you can say, hey, I've graduated. You have an opportunity for me now. A lot of times, volunteer opportunities can turn into full-time opportunities. And it's good for your resume as well.
That's what I was going to say. Like, you never know what's going to come up in a job interview, like things you list on your CV. Like, I will always say that, like, on my CV, even though it's my professional academic CV, one of the things I list there, not expecting it to be there, but just like, hey, is that I am an Eagle Scout. Twice in my interview in this job, to get this job, it actually came up in my interview. Once in the sort of open Q&A and once in the interview with the search committee, just randomly. So you never know what might open the door, what might make you more memorable in the minds of the people hiring. So.
And then the last thing that I didn't put on here, the Alumni Association here at the university. Reach out to the Alumni Association if you haven't already. How many of you have a relationship with them, with the Alumni Association, or have dealt with the Alumni Association? Oh, okay. Yeah, so I recommend it because a lot of times, you know, these folks have graduated from here and they are looking to give back and they're willing to help our students in securing opportunities. Be sure to follow us on social media. Here's my contact information if you all need to contact me if you have any questions. Although most of you will probably be interacting with your career specialist. But feel free to reach out to me at any time if you have general questions about anything. And I'll do my best to answer those questions. And speaking of questions, we'll end with any questions. I think we have, how much more time do we have?
I mean, technically this session ends at 1:15, but like,
okay.
but you are. But if you have any questions, please do ask or come up to Jamel. You know, this is obviously a big topic, and one of the things that we deliberate is many of us get into a PhD thinking we're going to go teach in college, maybe some of the science is more research focused, but I am proof that sometimes you go different directions and your skills are transferable to a lot of other different careers. So that's another reason why I asked you to come in, because you need to think broadly these days.
If any. Most of the students that I deal with are undergrad students. And that's just because we haven't been really doing this model that long. But hopefully we'll be able to kind of ramp that up a little bit. And that's why coming and speaking to groups like this will hopefully be able to get more students involved on that, on that level. But if that's something that you're interested in, then definitely you should be talking with your career specialist. Other questions?
Thank you, Jamel, for coming, and please, if you have questions, stick around.